Today I'm going to perform an extreme performance modification to my Focus ST, and that is this. Actually, it's not a performance modification at all. It's actually just a factory vapor canister. Mine has failed on this car. Now, some of the symptoms of a failed vapor canister are when you're filling up, you have fuel dumping out the vent right behind the rear wheel, or the gas pump keeps shutting off while you're filling because the fuel tank vapors aren't venting correctly. Some of these symptoms could also be because of the purge valve, which does work in relation to this. I've already replaced my purge valve. Some of the Achilles heels with the Focus ST are the purge valve, this vapor canister, the cylinder head cracking, the synchros in the transmission. These are some of the main common issues with this car. Now, the purge valve and the vapor canister, when they go bad, can actually start imploding your fuel tank and drawing it in. There's a measurement on a technical service bulletin from the factory on how to determine if you need to replace the fuel tank because of this one. I am within specs on my car for the fuel tank, and I've already replaced the purge valve. This is the next step that'll get me to be able to fuel this car properly. I have noticed there's no real content out there on replacing these on an ST. I've read that it's a more challenging job. So I'm going to make content today on replacing this, and we'll see how hard it really is. Now, I've left my car pretty much on empty because I want to fill it up after this to make sure it takes the fuel correctly. So without further ado, let's get under the car and get this replaced. You can see that the vapor canister does reside in a little bit of a tricky spot right here behind the fuel tank and right between the vehicle's rear subframe. We have 3 vent lines we need to disconnect on this side of the canister. On this side of the canister is nothing to disconnect, but you do have 2 nuts holding this in, and the one's a little tricky to get to. There's not a lot of room down here to show you, but we've seen these before. These are the same kind of connectors that are up front on vacuum lines and the purge valve and whatnot. And you need to just pull them back to release them. Oh, I just broke mine. Well, that's not good. There's one off. Let's see if I can get this one off without breaking it. No, can't. See if I can get the other piece out. There we go. The other broken piece is out. Now we can get this one off. So that one's off. In the very back here is one that should just pull off. But it's been there a minute too, so let's see if I can maybe get a screwdriver in there to start slipping it off. So that hose is right here, and it just slides on. Okay, I was able to get that back hose off. Reach up between your fuel tank and the subframe, and there's room in there to get your hand up in there. You can pull this off and work it off. Now I have all the vent connections off. I can start removing the nuts holding this in, and hopefully there's enough room on that harness that I can get my hands in behind there and disconnect it after I get this backed out. Alright, I'm taking off the 10 mil nut on the vent line side. Now we're going to come here to the other side. So as you can see, this one is real easy to get to. The other one is way back there behind the heat shield, and it's not going to come off easily. I'm going to do the back one first because it's the hardest one to get to. So I did find, this is a little like performing brain surgery, but you can get, I don't know if you can see it, you can get a ratchet wrench up on this side over here and get in there. Now you're going to be turning for a minute because these are lock nuts, but we're getting her out. You may be tempted to take this heat shield out. If you do take it out, they're riveted in. Make sure you put it back in. They put it there for a reason. Fuel vapors and exhaust don't mix. Well, that was a ginormous pain in the getting that back nut out. But good news, we got it. Now we can get to this front one. I am using a wobble extension on here because it's not a straight shot. You're probably going to need it. Okay. Now, we need to see what it takes to get this out of here. Got to back the front out so you can slide it over. There we go. You see your harness is there, now you got to disconnect. That's the last thing holding this in. Make sure when you order one of these, you order the right one. This is non-zero emissions vehicle. That's why this says non-P. Do not order P0, I think it says, or something like that. One thing I found that was actually a help is you can actually spin this solenoid valve, which can help get you in a better place to get that harness out. Just where the harness connects, push right here in this area with a screwdriver just lightly, and it'll just pop right out. So anyway, trash. Let's get the new one in. When you go to put the new vapor canister in, you're going to go in the reverse order that you took it out. So the first thing you're going to do is actually reconnect the solenoid valve back up to the canister, because that's going to be hard to reach otherwise. There, that's connected. Start putting it back into the place you need it. Got to finagle it. You'll see on the driver's side of the vapor canister, the mounting holes are slotted. You want to get those in first, and then push your other one on the stud in the front. So get this into position. There we go. And then in the front, over here on the passenger side, that hole actually has tabs that will lock it in place when you slip it over the stud. So just push it firmly all the way down, and that's it. Now it's back in. So at this point, we've done the hardest part of the job. I could be wrong. We have to put the nuts back on. Some of those are a little tricky to get into, but we'll see. I'm going to start with this one right here because it's really easy to access. Waddle extension. That one's in. I'm a little intentionally leaving that back one on this side for last. And that's just because it's a pain in the ass. Now moving on to this one, I'm going to slip it up in my socket from back in the back here. Do you ever just want to take an engineer out back and just beat them? Yeah, this project will do that for you. You know the song 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad? It's a really good song. And I was actually just thinking that for these nuts, there's 3 nuts that hold this on. That one in the back on the driver's side is going to be a bitch to get back on. And honestly, for a second, that song started playing in my head. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 'Cause 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But I don't work like that, so I'm going to put it on. It's going to be a lot of fun getting it back on. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so I might be a little bit of a diva. I managed to get the nut in there and started. I came up through here between the tank and the exhaust, and I managed to get it started by hand. And now I have my ratchet wrench back up there again, as you see, and that's where we're going to tighten it from. So maybe I just whined too much. I don't know. So you may be wondering, Andy, what are you going to do now that your white clips are broken? You don't have any to replace this with. You're right, I don't. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slide the pieces back in because they broke at the top, so it'll still lock in. And then my locking piece will go over top of that because they're still in one piece. And we're going to call it a day. And if we ever have to do this job again, we'll just sell the car. Okay, so I went on the line and I found these made by Dorman. And while they say they weren't for my car, they look identical. So I went to the Zone of Autos and I picked these up. I'm going to pull them out of the package and we're going to compare them and see if there's any difference, because everything I see visually says they're the same. So good news. The Dorman ones, they fit the forward vent line, which is the one closest to the front of the car. So that is a direct replacement for the front one. The back one, though, is a little bit shorter than this, so this will not work for it. So what I did, I put my 2 pieces back in that were broken because they're just broken at the top. I put them back in and then put the locking clip over them, and they're not going anywhere. And I already have the new one in here. The only thing I have left to do is connect the vent line here in the back. And this job is done. This job is now done. Everything's back together. The next thing we're going to do is take it to the gas station, get some gas in here and see how we do. I do see now my fuel tank is a little more caved in. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. It probably is out of spec now, but we're just going to pretend we didn't see that. Okay, starting test. Hey, we started up. That's a good sign. Now, we are way low on gas.
Figure we gotta land this thing. We are way low on gas, you understand me?
It's actually not that bad. But let's go get some and see how it goes in the tank. I love my ST, by the way. I really love this car. $439, what a bargain. Here comes the test. Success. We can put fuel in the car without shutting off right away. No fuel coming out the vent. Ah! Big scary pit bull. Who's a big scary pit bull? You are. Big and scary. Please don't eat me, Mr. Pitbull. So these old EVAP canisters, they're still useful. Matter of fact, I'm going to put mine right where I put useful used parts. So that's going to do it for this video on how to replace your EVAP canister on your Focus ST. If you found this video helpful, if you found Bailey cute, if you found my jokes funny, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and sign up for notifications. And I'll see you next time. Actually, it's not a performance modification at all. It's actually a fake. Actually, it's not a performance modification. Some of the symptoms of this could be, some of the symptoms you can find on this. Oh, I just broke mine. Well, that's not good. No, can't. That's cute. Fell off. The first thing you're going to do when you put the new one in is actually you're going to do it when you go to put this new one in, get my flashlight out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. So that's going to do it for how to put the EVAP canister in. So that's going to do it for this video on how to put the EVAP canister on. Loud truck going by.